This is the first Jake Hoback knives, Kwaiback, I've ever checked out. First of all, look at how cool it is in this beautiful little leather case. This is on loan to me from Blade Freak. Check out Blade Freak on Instagram. He's got really awesome collection. He's a disciplined collector. He keeps only about a dozen knives in his collection at once, and when he really wants something new, he gets it and moves one along. And I really admire that kind of discipline. That discipline has evaded me thus far when it comes to knives, but we'll see. There's always time to mature. Okay, so this is the Hoback Kwaiback Mark IV. This is a 2016 production, and this was Blade Freak's main carry, like pretty much daily carry, for 2 years after he got it in 2016. And then he's recently gotten a new Kwaiback, and so his love for the knife is strong, but maybe he's moved on. This is no longer his daily carry. He's got a new one. He put a fantastically sharp edge on it. I believe this is his edge. It looks like something from a consistent angle sharpener, and man, did he do a good job. The blade itself is crew wear, not a usual blade for a folder. And I have one knife in my collection that's crew wear. It's a Steingraber Performance Knives Shark, and I've really liked that, the way that blade performs. It's a very thin, very sharp knife, and that steel is awesome. So I can only believe it's going to be awesome on this knife. I've only carried this around the house, have not used it, even though I was encouraged to. I really, frankly, haven't had much to use it on. But yeah, that's crew wear. That is very sharp. These are both flat ground. Oftentimes you'll see on Americanized tantos or kwaikens, you'll see a hollow ground flat, like the main bevel is hollow ground, and then it meets a flat ground sort of chisel tip. And you'll see that this line where those two meet will always be curved when you have a hollow ground meeting a flat grind, just like this. So you can see here that's all flat ground, almost a full height flat grind, which means it's going to be sharp and slicey and as thin as it can be behind the edge without being hollow ground and without being a thin stock knife, but will be quite robust behind the edge. And that's kind of what you want this knife for. This is a hard use knife, and all that implies. Now this would be something, when you look at the spine of this and then you look at that tip, this is something that you could punch through a lot of things, push through a lot of things, thrust through a lot of things without breaking that tip. So to have this fully flat ground in the back, this back portion just adds to, the robustness of this blade. I gotta come up with a new word. Robust, I'm using it too much these days. Really great jimping on this knife. I really like, on this blade here, I really like this style, the larger jimps. They grip gloves very well. They grip your bare fingers, your bare thumb very well, though you might not want to do too much hard work with your thumb on this jimping for too long. But for, say you're going to use this actually as a tactical knife and you're going to use it as a weapon, as a last-ditch weapon, you want to know that your thumb is there and that it's going to move. Even if it does slip, that doesn't mean your hand is slipping up. But I would imagine, with all those moving parts and with all that adrenaline, if you need to use this in a combative situation, you want to know that your finger is going to stay there. So this jimping here is really good, and would be excellent for extended use with gloves. Down here near the flipper tab, you have a nice little choil area where you can, or at least I can, put my fingers here. I don't have those big, meat hook hands or sausage fingers, so I don't know how big giant fingers are going to do there. But for me, that's a really nice point to choke up if you need to. Flipper tab is pretty nice. It's a little sharp, here. But it encourages you to light switch, which optimizes the deployment. So maybe it's built like that for a reason. It's just a little sharp, not a big deal. Yeah. So as we move down the knife, you can see pretty nice carbon fiber, you know, regular weave carbon fiber, not the stuff I'm crazy, you know, I'm not crazy about this stuff, but it does have a nice texture. And then they mill these two fullers in here quite deeply. And man, do those add to grip. You know, it really helps these fingers wrap around and kind of bury themselves in those fullers there. It really gives you a sense of a sure grip. So here you have a little finger choil, you have, or the choil there, but you got your finger choil, you got your excellent jimping, and then you've got these fullers here on an already nicely textured carbon fiber. So the grip on this is very good. Very good. And if your hands are long, or if you're using it in a sort of a sabery grip like this, you've got the jimping in the back here to nestle into your hand. So if you're pushing, this jimping is catching on your palm, you know, and everywhere else, you've got this point here, you've got your finger, your thumb holding down the jimping, and this here. But to have this jimping here is very, very nice to have set against the palm in sort of a saber grip like that. This is not, I have determined, this is not for your thumb in reverse grip, because this does nothing. This does nothing. If you really want to use your thumb in reverse grip, it's got to go over the top to stop your hand from sliding down if you make contact with something hard. So on this knife, if you're going to use it in reverse grip and thrust it, you just want a really tight fist. I don't know about having the thumb up there. It's not comfortable, and who knows, it might even jack up your thumb a little bit. Probably not. But this jimping here, my only point is that this jimping is not for your thumb, as far as I can tell. That jimping is for your palm in saber grip, or if you got a really big giant hand and your fat palm is just already like oozing over onto that. Boom. That is not to besmirch anyone with giant hands, you know. That's just me talking. I really like spring clips on tactical knives. This is a really nice one. It's got great retention, but it, you know, it'll flex. Excuse me. It'll flex to accommodate most pockets. You've got double torque screws there, and that cool cutout. That's cut out. I don't know if you can tell that, but that's yeah, you can see some depth there. It's a little Hoback battle axe in there. Very cool. Here he has Psalm 23, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, right? Hoback. I like the simple branding on this. You don't have tons of branding. Nice big pivot collar, or a nice big pivot. And you got the inlays on this side. I always like it when when makers don't forget the lock side, and they take advantage of that space and inlay. When they don't, I'm kind of like, okay, you stopped when you flipped it over. Okay, so this, let's see if I can turn it this way. Interestingly enough, carbon fiber is a light material already. Do I have a light around here? I'm going to use a lighter. It's kind of ghetto, but I'm going to use this lighter. You can see in there. Don't worry, blade freak, I'm not burning the handle here. You can see that even the carbon fiber is weight relieved. It has pockets, big pockets cut out on the backside. So it really makes this big, you know, mostly metal knife pretty light. And then, of course, there's a lot of weight reduction in the titanium on the lock side. One thing that vexes me ever so slightly is these two holes here. I'm looking on the bottom of the carbon fiber and looking through the top, and I see threads milled in there, but I can't see like a metal collar or something in there. So I'm not sure if you wear this lefty, if you're just screwing these straight into carbon fiber. I can't imagine you are, because this knife is so impeccably built. And maybe I don't know about carbon fiber. Maybe carbon fiber is a perfectly fine medium to anchor screws into. I don't know. I know Jake Hoback knows a hell of a lot better than I do, but I was just looking at that, looking in there, and just seeing that I could not see any metal in there. So in any case, I do wish that makers would, on a knife at this price point, it would be nice not to see those holes. On a knife at the price point of this knife, it'd be nice not to even have to have a filler tab or have anything right there. That's just how I feel about it. If you're lefty and you're ordering this knife, it'd be nice to say, hey, I'd like to get this tapped for left hand, and then they do it for you, but I don't know. That, of course, is a nitpick, you know, on this quite outstanding knife. One thing I want to mention that Blade Freak pointed out to me, that all of this camo on the titanium is anodized in. That's not a coating or anything, that's anodized, which is pretty cool. This, I don't know, that's probably acid etched or something. You can actually feel, it. But I think that is impressive, how the anode job they did on this. Just really, really nicely done. Let me show this with a couple of other knives. First, for size comparison, here it is with an RSK Mark I. Kind of a standard 3-inch tactical size, if you will. Maybe the handle's a little bit larger than, well, I know the handle's a little bit larger than the mini grip, but there it is. Let's see, here it is with a paramilitary 2. You see, pretty good size, bigger than the paramilitary 2. All right, now I'm going to show it with a bunch of cool tantos. Well, first I'll show it with a non-tanto, but cool nonetheless. Here it is. Boy, oh boy, excuse me. With the Hinderer XM24, their big boy. So nearly the same size, a little bit shorter in the blade, but it's right around the same size. Same, I would put it on the same shelf if this were mine. With the venerable 2012 SOCOM Elite, one of my favorites. Love this knife. So about also a unique tanto blade grind, and also about 4 inches. Here's the smaller Hinderer Eclipse with this long, useful tip. Again, you can see flat grind meeting flat grind in that straight line. And here you see hollow grind meeting flat grind in that curved line. And this is the Riot K2. My favorite, or one of my absolute favorite tantos. I can't quite put my finger on which one I like best. The one that he shipped with, that Blade Freak shipped with that kwaiken, because I bought it from him, was this here, Tanto Umnumzan. I love, absolutely, really super dig this knife, and I'm such a fan of how they do their tantos. How it's just, boom, it's like this abrupt angle, and it's just a wedge, super sharp wedge. So there you go. A couple more, 2 more here. Both Ernest Emerson designs. So here the Hoback Kwaiback is with the Super CQC7. So these are about the same size, actually, oddly enough. Well, I don't know why that's odd. All right, and here it is with the 620, zero tolerance 620, and Emerson design. Like here, this would have been nice to see something happening here. But it's a hard use knife, so this one doesn't, I guess you don't have to have too much in the way of decoration. All right, well, that is the Hoback Kwaiback in a nutshell. I would really like to own one of these at some point. Perhaps the Husky version, which is thicker on all, yeah, I think it's a 1/4-inch blade. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it would be a cool one to have just for its unique collectability. If I'm to get a Hoback Knives Kwaiback, it will be not with carbon fiber. I would get it with the micarta. I think the micarta really lends itself to this design, but I'm biased. I love micarta on everything. So, all right, thanks for the loan out, Blade Freak. Go check out Blade Freak on Instagram, and well, thanks for watching.